Hello, my music-loving friends. If you did Theory Book 1, we started talking about note reading and the names of the various notes on the strings, but we are going to take a much deeper dive on this now in Theory Book 2. So we're going to start by folding this piece of paper so that we make one gigantic grid. And you are going to use every scrap of this paper. So no matter what you cut off, unless I tell you to get rid of it, you're going to keep it. Okay, so here we go. Let's get to folding. We are making organizational lines for the most part. And normally I tell you not to be a perfectionist. And I still don't want you to be such a perfectionist that you can't get it done. But we need to be as neat as possible with these folds. So let's start by going this way and lining up our corners as neatly as possible. We really need all of our squares to be the same size. And I know someone out there's like, they're rectangles. You know what I mean. All right, so I've made that fold. I am creasing my fold really firmly as always. And then we're gonna do 2 more folds in that same direction. We're gonna have one really long skinny piece of paper once we've done all the folds. And here, we need to make sure those corners stay lined up because when you start to fold it, sometimes the paper slips like so. So I'm kind of holding these edges together, folding like so, lining up my corners. Do they look good? Oh, they do. So happy with that. And then making my crease, making it a nice tight crease. And then what did I say? We're going to do one more in that same direction. This is where it gets tricky. Those corners want to get unruly. So I'm kind of curling it in my hands first. That seems to help. And then once I've curled it, I'm lining up my corners. And I'm trying to keep it from going out of control. All right, and then I pinch it, press it to my surface, give it one last look to make sure it looks good. And then I do the fold. And of course, you guessed it, make it a nice hard crease. Excellent. So now we're going to open that up. You can kind of press along those folds to open them up. All right, look how beautiful those columns are. If you look at yours, it should be nice and orderly now. We're going to do that same thing in the opposite direction. So I'm holding it like this. You may have heard me refer to this as landscape in the past. This was portrait, this is landscape. And we're going to fold it 3 times in that direction. So here we go, from this side to this side. Really neat corners. This is harder to do because the other folds make the paper less pliable. But still, I believe in you. All right, so my corners are lined up, pressing it down, starting my fold, smashing it. All right, it's folded like this, right? I'm going in that same direction again, curling it over. Look how I hold this edge together. You got to do the same thing. You can always pause the video if you need to. It gets trickier, but by the time you're doing Theory Book 2, I bet you can do this kind of thing. All right, so my corners are together, smash it down to the table, press it, hard crease. All right, let's say one more time. So we're going this way still. Curl it up in your hands like so. Get those corners together. If it seems like I'm going fast, it's because I've done this a bunch of times. All right, make your fold. Hard crease. And then the folding part is done. So open that up. Pause if you're not done. And what do we have? What did I say? One gigantic grid like so. Okay. So we are going to start by cutting it exactly in half. So I have my paper portrait this way. And if you can't remember which one of those lines is the middle, fold it in half so you can find that line again. You want to be right in that middle line. Take your scissors and cut it in half, and be careful. If you've watched my other videos, you know I cut myself with my scissors at one point. So if I can do it, It's entirely possible for you too, so be safe while you're cutting. All right, so here I am. All right, so in this video, you only need this half of it, but you need this half of it for the next set of videos. So don't lose it, because then you have to make all those folds again. And in fact, by the end of this video, I'm going to tell you where you can keep this so you don't lose it. Okay, so we have our theory books in front of us now. We have this piece of paper. This is going to go over here. This looks very similar to something that we did in theory book 1. So if you did that, the goal is the same in terms of putting it in this place, but there is a different goal in terms of how you glue it. And this is super important. We are making a string names diagram, but we're also making a little secret pocket out of that string names diagram. So here's how you're going to do this. When you glue it, you're only going to glue this side over here, this part right here, and a little bit over here, okay? So you'll see when I put my glue on, whether it's stick or liquid, doesn't matter. You're gonna put a little glue behind the bottom half here, the entire bottom down here, and the first 3 squares here. Okay, so watch carefully, and remember, if you need to watch and then pause to do it, you can do that. All right, here I go.